Welcome. Today we're going to take a look at strong vocabulary in writing. Our goals are to look at what is strong vocabulary in writing, how does the writer identify strong choices in vocabulary, and what does strong vocabulary actually look like. So, strong vocabulary, this is where a writer is using strong words, very specific words that are specific to the topic that's being covered. The writer is coming across as being clear and intelligent and is helping the reader to visualize the ideas that the writer is trying to communicate. The writer also comes across as having a broad variety of information about this particular topic that demonstrates both depth and breadth of understanding. So, how is vocabulary used? Well, when we are writing, regardless of what kind of writing that we're doing, it may be persuasive writing, it may be expository writing, it may be a narrative, it may be poetry, maybe all kinds of different styles. But we want to enlighten, we want to engage, to entertain, and to educate. So regardless of what it is that we're doing, we're shooting for at least one of these purposes here. And you want to meet those purposes when you're choosing your vocabulary for your particular piece. So how can we identify strong vocabulary in a particular piece of writing, whether we are acting as the writer or as the reader? So in persuasive pieces, we're going to use different style of our vocabulary choices. We need to capture the reader's attention and also convince the reader that our ideas are very good and that the reader should agree with us. Now that takes specific choices in vocabulary to do that. In descriptive writing, like essays, stories, this sort of thing, you want to give your writer word choices that will give that reader strong imagery, visuals, different kinds of sensory details, so that the reader can picture those ideas in their mind and have a better understanding that way. Let's take a look at an example. We have here a piece with some fairly weak vocabulary. At the end of the dark path is a pink rose bush. Go into an old gate. That is where the fairies are. But be careful so they don't get you. So we have a piece here that has some interesting ideas, but really hasn't been expounded upon with strong vocabulary yet. So let's take a look at its improved version that has some stronger vocabulary. At the end of the barbed rue hedge flourishes a sleepy rose bush, with buds in the dusty, quiet pink, found only in the sweet, misty isle of light. Softly sneak up to the old rusty gate, but carefully, as though you are approaching an ancient sanctuary of the gods. For roaming behind the gate is magic of the most delicate, yet marvelous kind, fairy magic. So here we've chosen different words to include in this particular piece. Both of these pieces are just short descriptions to describe this little place that has a rose bush and a gate, and there is a fairy that lives there. But because of the words that were chosen, we have a very different experience as a reader. In this piece here, boy, you can get those pictures in your mind of exactly what this place looks like and what's going on here. It's a different experience than the weaker vocabulary choice. Let's take a look at another example. This is for an expository piece. So our previous piece was more descriptive, more narrative. In this piece here, it is going to be more of an expository piece where we're explaining something. So, dear HOA board, the house at 145 South Dane Street has a very old broken fence. Its gate fell off and is propped open. At least a quarter of the pickets fell off and are lying in the grass, which hasn't been mowed. So we have basic information that's being passed on here in what appears to be a letter, probably a business letter format. And so we have basic information, but it's not particularly strong in the types of vocabulary that's been used. Let's take a look at another example. Dear HOA Board, house at 145 South Dane Street has a fence that appears to be a safety hazard and is likely beyond reasonable repair. Its gate has visibly fallen off of the hinge and is propped open with a large rusty coffee can. At least a quarter of the original colonial-style pickets have liberated themselves completely from the structure, probably in an attempt to escape, and lie amongst the jungly grass. So here we have a little bit of humor with the probably an attempt to escape, which is kind of funny, but we have much clearer description. When somebody reads this, they're going to get an idea of, oh wow, we've really got a situation here. We need to take a look at what's going on with this fence and handle that situation properly. So here we have descriptive information that's given in an expository manner so that a change can be made. This would certainly be appropriate to include in this type of letter, such as you would give to a homeowners association. In terms of model use, what should you be looking for with your vocabulary choices? You want to choose strong words. You want to use figurative language where that's possible, but not overuse it. It's kind of a fine line where you want to get that comfortable middle place. That would include similes and metaphors, hyperbole and paradox, onomatopoeia, personification, oxymoron, and so forth. You want to make sure that you're using words that are appropriate to the purpose of the writing, and that you're using your words correctly and clearly. Those are very important not to misuse your words. It can really change the way that the reader is viewing the piece when that happens. In terms of student expectations, you should understand what strong vocabulary is, improve upon your weak words in your writing, and help your peers to improve upon their vocabulary as well. Sometimes it can be particularly difficult to locate your own errors in your writing, so having a writing partner who can help to find those can be very helpful. At this point, what you should know and be able to do is to understand what strong vocabulary is, know to identify strong vocabulary, and be able to improve upon word choices. I hope this information has been helpful to you. Good luck with your writing.